when a test messes around and does things like say, hey, you know how you learned something here, here's this thing in a complicated way, that's fine. But when it does something like say, hey, you know how you learned this thing and studied this thing, here's something totally different. About the same stuff, but it's totally different. Not in the book, then that's a different story because it is like, yeah. Because here's how it went. Here's a scenario for you. They were saying there's stuff about the SCSI they were saying about, it was like this in the book. It was like, okay, SCSI's from, basically what happens with SCSI is you gotta plug everything. It uses a ribbon cable like pattern, like the parallel cables, or the old ribbon cables that the pattern drives use, and basically you got to plug those in properly because unlike the pattern cables, which if you plug them in wrong, like upside down, all that'll happen, when all that happens with those is that they won't work right. They won't work. You have to plug it in the right way, or you won't be able to. Nothing will no data will go to or come from it. So you got to plug it in the right way, or it won't work. That's fine on a pattern cable, on a pattern drive. On a SCSI drive, if you plug the cable in wrong, like upside down, you could seriously damage it. Okay, you could damage the thing. So it's kind of sensitive. There's the issue of picking out ID numbers for these things, and because you can put a bunch of SCSI drives, plug a bunch of SCSI drives. You basically have a SCSI card you plug into your computer's PCI slot, then you plug that a SCSI cable into that card, and then you can plug it into some other stuff, and you just keep on. You go on for a good while with those cards, and just with those things, that you plug into there. They call it daisy chaining or SCSI chaining. It's kind of interesting. It works really well with RAID, which they also went over in the book. And those questions, I got really good at those. So I'm like, yeah, this is great. This is wonderful. But anyway, what happened was they said, in the book, hey, here's how it goes. You got to plug these in properly. You got to use, give them ID numbers. They have stuff. There's stuff. Sometimes are things on the actual, what's it called? Oh, yeah. The actual, device, whatever it is, that'll give you that you can flip to ID numbers. You can flip it to different ID numbers. There's other stuff like the what's called termination. You gotta terminate these things in the right way, because if you terminate it in the wrong way, they won't work right. So that is basically, the stuff is expensive, the stuff is sensitive. So, but it's super fast, and and it works really well with RAID. So basically, that's why it's still around, and it's basically you put that mostly people in, like, I'm pretty sure high paying, that can afford the prices and whatnot, like a big organization or something, probably use those to back up their stuff. So it's cool. That's cool for that. But anyway, I'm glad Saturday's coming in and making it better. So, but anyway, the main issue with this, the main issue with this is they talked about this. They said, hey, we're going to mess around and do this. Okay, I'll be right back. I got to open my phone up in the window where I can get a signal. All right, we're back. Okay, basically, they said, okay, in the book, it's like, okay, yeah, you can just put all these things together, and just, you have to be very careful with them, things like that, and it's like, okay, figure out the way to terminate them, figure out the way to, do the IDs, things like that, and make sure it's, this, that, and the other thing. And I'm like, okay, I know this stuff. Okay, that's cool. That's cool that I know that this is important information for the test. Glad I know it. There you go. Then the practice test comes along, and it's like, okay, in a SCSI chain, these things have these things here have ID numbers. So I was like, okay, yes, I know that. It's like, all right, what is the ID numbers? Like, okay, the SCSI card that you plug into the computer has 0. So this one thing has 1. This other thing has 2. It goes on for there for a little bit. I was like, okay, it was like up to like 5 or 6. And so it's like, okay, or whatever, 3 or 4, or whatever. And I'm like, okay, no problem. It's like, which one is most important? Like, I don't remember that in the book. I don't. I know about daisy chain, SCSI chaining. I know about termination. But they didn't say which one's important. What? as far as I can tell, I have read through this chapter a few times. Okay. But well, I'll just guess. So I guessed. And, combine guessing with the rushing and the unnecessary floppy disk thing. Oh, yeah. And I found out what's going on with that. The floppy disk. There's an issue where they did talk about this in the book. That a lot of older. Something went, all right. I'm working on a new pair of headphones. Hope everything's cool. Anyway. They say basically it's like this. You have one of these ribbon cables has 2 plugs on it, 3 plugs. One plug goes in to the motherboard. There are 2 plugs that one is the master and one is the slave. So it's like, okay, I've heard of this. So I was like, no big deal. So I'm thinking, I didn't know about this at first, but then I was like, oh, yeah, I knew about that. So I was like, okay, but why won't this thing mess around? Well, this thing it says to make it so it says it's the B drive. So I'm like, okay, I know, after failing after getting that score, that annoying score, slap in the face score, I was like, okay, I talked to my boss. And he's like, okay, well, you want to change the name of the drive. Okay, here's how you do it. And he goes and goes to Windows, actual Windows, not virtual computer Windows, which is like laser focused on the test. So yeah, it's not the same. Not the same. But anyway, it just wants you to do what it wants you to do. But yeah, it's not the same. Anyway. This thing goes in there and it's like, he goes in there and says, like, okay, here's how it goes. And types it in, you basically go to your disk management, you do this thing over here, and you can change that letter to whatever you want, except for a letter or something that already has the letter. So it's like, okay, maybe I'll try that sometime. Then he's like, let's see what you did wrong. Let's see how you messed up on this one thing, the floppy drive question. Maybe that'll help too. Then you can, we can figure out how to do better next time. It was like, okay, cool. And it says, you plugged it into the wrong plug. You should have plugged into the slave plug instead of the master plug. Bullcrap. Bullcrap. It's a slap in the face. It's one of the most insulting things, annoying things ever. It's like I plugged it in. I expected it to work. Why would you put it? Then there's like all this stuff with like the laser focusedness. You want it to be B drives. Why? Like because you want to. That's part of the test. Have fun. Oh my god. It's just not fun. It wasn't cool. So combine all that stuff together. That I didn't do the labs right, which account for a huge amount of your score. I wish it was the other way around. That'd be so cool. It's like, oh, I missed 1 point because I didn't do the lab right. But I got all these questions right, so I get a good score. Yay! Because, of course, it's a real computer. It gets more points. So, yeah, I got a 25 that time. Even though it showed up in software, unlike last time, I got 25% of the floppy disk thing done. That combined with me guessing wrong on some of those scuzzy questions and whatnot caused me to get a 74 instead of a 79, instead of an 80. Instead of a lower score than I got last time. Now the cool thing is I can take the test again anytime I want because it's online. So I think I might try that sometime. But there's also the issue. Mr. Mark my boss has allowed me. He said I can come back to it because we're basically going to come back. Any place I got a low score, he says we're going to come back, and do it again sometime. So, yeah, we're going to do that. I'm going to go to the next chapter, do that, try to do a better job at that, and just keep on going. Throughout the entire book. Then we'll come back to ones that that was low in, and just keep on going from there. And I look forward to that, getting that done, taking the actual A+ tests, and being done with having A+ certification after, be able to get a better job with that. That's basically the issue. Getting a better job, large amounts more money, learning awesome skills, basically. I'll see you guys next time. Check me out on YouTube and DeviantArt. I'm putting stuff on DeviantArt and YouTube. Just on the weekends. See you next time.